Hello everyone, my name is John Schreiner and I am a sophomore here in the Wheat Ridge High School STEM program.
I'm Gabrielle Renteria. I am also a sophomore, second year of doing this program. And I'll make sure that you leave a like on this video if you want future live streams. And leave a comment for any future idea live streams, and make sure to subscribe and click that little bell for notifications.
So today we will be going over some of the projects that the STEM program is going to be doing this year, as well as giving a bit more information about the new classrooms that the STEM program has gotten here. So this year we will be doing our urban concept car. This is a hydrogen fuel cell powered car that's supposed to be more luxurious than our prototype car. We are doing our hydrogen fuel cell prototype car. We are doing a NASA rover, human powered rover. We're doing a human-powered vehicle project, and we are also doing Arduinos, which are electrical components to help us with all of these projects. This year we also got permission from the school to use the downstairs computer lab, our engineering workshop, and this lovely classroom that we have turned into a conference room. Each of the classrooms or work areas allows us to better create our projects, have more collaboration between each of our teams on each project and within each project. So we've got Isaac Fernald here, the lead designer for the hydrogen fuel cell prototype car, and we're gonna get some more information about the car from him. So Isaac, give us a little bit of background about the hydrogen fuel cell powered car.
So, the car we're building, the car that I'm designing this year, is a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle that we're designing to be as efficient as possible. And we're going to take it to somewhere in California to compete in the Shell Eco Marathon this year, and compete against other teams to see which car has the most efficient.
So on the topic of the competition, do you know where and when this competition will be?
We know it's going to be sometime in April and somewhere in California. Shell, the company that runs the competition, has not released more information.
When do you think more information will be released?
I really have no idea.
So are you adding anything new to the prototype from last year?
Yes. So we're focusing, or we're putting a little more focus onto the aesthetics of the vehicle this year, and to make it look better, and we're also looking at some new methods of manufacturing the vehicle to help make it lighter and easier to manufacture.
So will there be any new electrical components added?
We're going to have a little more telemetry, both from Shell and from our electrical teams and the people who are working on the Arduinos. And other than that, we're looking at mostly new processes for manufacturing.
Okay, so what kind of new processes will those be?
So in the past, how we've primarily built our vehicles is with laying carbon fiber inside of molds that we make. This year, the core structure of our vehicle will instead be laid over sheets of foam that we then attach together and lay carbon fiber over that. It eliminates the need to make molds for the vehicle, which will save us a lot of time.
So how long will each of these processes take, you think?
If we work through multiple periods, we can likely get several layers of carbon fiber onto these foam sheet parts.
All right. So, what do you think about the new classroom setup here for the STEM program?
I like it. The computer lab, we have a little more space to work with the new computers. Those are quite nice. This conference room is very nice for design reviews or group meetings or presentations. And its proximity to the manufacturing lab is nice. It lets us move between the rooms more easily.
Okay, great. So can you tell us a bit more about yourself and your past STEM experience?
So I'm a junior, and this is my third year on the program. Last year I was also lead designer for the prototype car, and my first year looked like a very interesting program. The first year team had come to my middle school to present about what they were doing, and I really thought it sounded interesting, and then joined the program and had a lot of fun.
Right. So are you thinking about going into a STEM field?
Yes, I'm looking into a few different branches of engineering.
Right. Let's see. Let's see.
So back to the subject of STEM, what's the difference between the urban concept and the prototype?
So the urban concept and the prototype, they're both hydrogen fuel cell cars, and they both compete in the Shell Eco Marathon. However, they compete in two different divisions, and those divisions have different requirements. So where the prototype vehicles are designed to be as efficient as possible and as light as possible, the urban concept vehicles are designed to be more like a street legal car that you would find on the streets. And they have to have things like turn signals and brake lights and windshield wipers, as well as storage space. So it's a much more complex vehicle, but it offers a lot of learning experiences that you wouldn't get with the prototype.
Right. So while we're on that topic, what is the typical prototype car like?
Well, they can either have 4 or 3 wheels, unlike the urban concept, which has to have 4. Generally, you see a 3-wheeled car that's very low profile and sort of slim. And a lot of teams use carbon fiber for the body because it is so light and strong. Although sometimes you'll see cars with aluminum frames.
So what have our past cars, what have their frames been made out of, and what do you plan to make this year's frame out of?
So all of our cars have used carbon fiber for the frame and body. The second year we did it, so 2 years ago, we also used Kevlar in our vehicle, and for our windows we use a type of sort of polycarbonate plastic type material called Lexan because it's flexible but strong. And we also use aluminum for the metal components that need to bear a lot of stress.
Okay. Why aluminum?
Aluminum, although it's a little more brittle than steel, it tends to be a lot lighter, and we're not exerting as much stress on these vehicles than what you would find in an actual car that you would drive, so we don't need that much.
Okay, great. So everyone that is watching currently, we just want to remind you that we will have a question and answer session after our short intermission. There you can just type into the YouTube live stream chat. We will be looking at them live, having all three of us answering your questions to the best of our ability. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell notification to get more video notifications.
So I have one more question for you while you're still here. So the 3 years that you've been here, how many years have you been a designer?
I'm a designer this year, and I was a designer last year. So,
And how many of these competitions have you been to?
I've been to both of the Shelley marathons that I was here for. So,
Was it fun? Did you guys do anything special or?
last year we missed prom, so we had a little thing that we did, so that was fun. But yeah, the competitions are a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of other schools, how they designed it. It gives us a lot of sort of inspiration for how we can make our vehicles better. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to go out there and compete.
Have you driven any of the cars? Do you want to drive any of the cars?
I am going to be a driver for this year's car. So, yeah.
So how, on the topic of driving our cars, how difficult is it to drive each of the cars? Is there any special training, any special equipment you have to wear, anything like that?
Shell requires that you have sort of a single piece fireproof bodysuit, as well as fireproof gloves, racing helmet to protect you, and they are very concerned about the safety of the participants. You don't really need any special training, although they do require that you have a valid driver's license. But other than that, the vehicles are fairly intuitive to drive, because you have a steering wheel and a throttle and brakes. So,
All right. So how widespread is the competition? How many teams compete, and from what areas of the country or of the world?
So the competition that we're in is for the Americas, so both North and South America. So we've competed against teams from Canada. There are teams from all over, from Brazil, from Mexico. I think there are Argentinian teams. So you get a lot of diversity in who comes into the competition.
All right. So what's our track record for the win-loss?
We've been on the podium all 3 years that we've done it. The first year that we did it, we won. The second year, we got second place, and the last year, we won again.
So, of course, I sure hope you plan to be on the podium again this year.
Yeah, we have high hopes for this car.
Let's see. So, what other parts of the STEM program are you interested in other than your head design role?
The media team is pretty interesting.
That's us.
Yeah, you
That's
guys
us.
do
That's us.
you do a lot to help get the word out about us and raise funds so that we can actually do these things.
So what kind of fundraisers do you think that we're going to do this year?
I think we're planning on doing the car wash again. That's always a fun one. Presentations to possible sponsors. The gala is always a good one.
So for this year, what are you trying to make the car look like? I heard there was a different design behind that.
Yeah, whereas previous cars have been very sort of simple and sort of
low profile.
Yeah.
Low profile and not very nice to look at.
Some may argue otherwise. Yeah, this year we're looking at more of a design like...
Is it going to look cool? Is it going to look like this?
No, because we aren't going to have four wheels, but it's going to look something, we hope, at least along the lines of a car that you'd find in the Indy 500 or other Formula One type races.
Right, so it's going to have, like, fins and stuff? Or not fins, those are on fish, but those things. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay. Cool. Great. So we will be right back. We're going to take a short intermission. Make sure to keep sending in your questions for us. We'll be answering them right after the break. Thank you.
The prototype car has been the prized possession of our STEM team for years. But while it's efficient, it lacks the sense of luxury that a normal car has. However, this year, we aim to change that. Meet Project Helios, our most advanced car yet. Like its predecessor, its body is made of carbon fiber, but this model includes a full suspension system and it's powered by a monster 2 kilowatt fuel cell.
All right, everyone. We apologize about that. So, Isaac, Urban Concept, how much do you know about that? And can you give us any insight into what the Urban Concept team is doing?
I'm not super well versed in all of the intricacies of the project, but I do know that they're going to be using a 2 kilowatt fuel cell instead of the 1 kilowatt fuel cells that we've used in the past, because they do need a little more power to drive the larger and heavier vehicle. And so right here you can see what at least the most recent designs for the car look like, and they're going to be using, similar to our vehicle, they're going to be using panels of carbon fiber laid over a frame or attached to a frame to help reduce weight and still keep strength. They're also going to be adding more advanced suspension than what we've used in the past. Beyond that, I don't know too much.
All right, so the Urban Concept team, they have named the car Project Helios. I believe this is their logo. That one right there. It's pretty cool. And of course, if you would like any more information on Project Helios, we will be making more Facebook posts. So be keeping up with the Wheat Ridge High School STEM Facebook page. So Isaac, what all do you know about what the Urban Concept car must include? Earlier, before our intermission, you said it had to have things like windshield wipers, brake lights, turn signals. Outside of that, what else does it need to have?
It has to be a four-wheeled vehicle, and it has to have a certain size storage space that is accessible from the outside, analogous to a trunk on a car, and generally, due to the constraints of the vehicles, they tend to be a lot larger and heavier, so they require a slightly more robust power system, as I alluded to with the 2 kilowatt fuel cell. So beyond that, generally teams look to make a more interesting car. Instead of having just a throttle on the steering wheel, they a lot of times have a foot throttle, and the doors tend to be more like what you'd find on an actual car instead of just a cockpit that opens up. And teams generally just take a little more time and put a little more detail in
They make
cars.
them more aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, great. So we also just found out that the Arduino team, that is the little computer and electrical chips, they will be helping us out, helping the Urban Concept and Prototype team out. That will be included, or they will be helping us with a dashboard, things like a fuel efficiency meter and a speedometer. That's all we've figured out for now. We will definitely keep you updated as more information is given out.
And thank you, Isaac, for being here and doing this interview with us to give us some more information.
Yeah, no problem.
And since we don't have any questions here, anytime you would like to get in contact with us, you can email Mr. Sprague through the Wheat Ridge High School STEM website. He will pass that message on to us, and we will reply as soon as we can. But since there are no questions, we're going to wrap up the stream. Thanks everyone for watching, and have a...
We actually did just get a question right now.
Oh.
How many students are on each project team?
I believe we have around 80 students in the class, and that's split around 4 periods, so roughly 20 members per team.
Yeah, 20 students per period. And then as we have new people coming in, part of the requirements for us is to learn the CAD,
The
Autodesk Inventor program, which is a 3D modeling program. So we will, not everyone in each class will be working on the project.
And each class does have freshmen through senior. There's freshmen, sophomores, juniors, every single one in each class.
All right, and any more questions?
Nope, looks like that's...
Right. So the roles on each of the teams, we have people, head designers such as Isaac. I believe there are
other members of the design team.
there's design people.
And then, often there are multiple groups in a single class. There may be media team members alongside the design team members,
And there are also some of us, myself included, that like to not so much design, but like to build. So there are people like that who hop in when they are interested in whatever's happening, leaving all the smart people work to guys like Isaac.
And of course, we have the media team that everybody that's in this live stream, working on the live stream, we're there to get the information out there about the STEM program, all that. So I have one last question for you about the mill that we have in the lab.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do with it? How does it work?
Can you explain what it is?
Yeah.
So we have a CNC mill, or computer numerical control mill, and it's really helpful. Metro donated it to us, which was really great of them, and it allows us to very precisely cut through pretty much any material from wood to steel, and it allows us to machine very precise parts that can go into our cars and function very well. So it's
all right. And how much does the prototype team use the mill?
We don't use it as extensively as the urban concept team typically does. We use it often for making our molds so that they can be very precise and produce a good part, and we use it for some of our support, so for often our steering or supporting our rear wheels, so that we can, because sometimes carbon fiber is not an applicable material for the use.
All right, great. So thank you, Isaac, again for being here tonight, answering questions. And if there are any more questions, please ask them now. Otherwise, we will be shutting down the live stream.
Looks like there is no more
So
questions.
no more questions. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Thank you and have a good night.